Hello guys, welcome back. I hope you're all doing okay and keeping safe. And in the spirit of keeping calm and carrying on, I thought we'd try and figure out what's going wrong with this rear brake drum and the sprocket that seems to have disconnected itself from the drum. So as you can see, we've got the bike on the main centre stand. This is a aftermarket centre stand by Dave Hills. Tons of the Vincent guys have got them. Otherwise, you got to use this as the main stand, and that would work, but I just find it so much more convenient to have that stand. So we're going to start off by having the bike on the stand. This pulls away. This is my Harbour Freight motorcycle lift. Actually one of the best deals that I got, one of the best buys in the garage. And we're going to just remove the rear wheel, and we start off by just detaching and lifting up the rear mudguard. You see everything here on the Vincent, well, you know, a lot of the fastenings are what they call Tommy bars, these T-bars here, and it allows us to lift this up. I need to work on this anyway as well, because I've actually snapped one of the wires up there. So that exposes the wheel, and then we're going to remove all this brake linkage, the chain, and then obviously slacken off the main axle, take the wheel out, and then we'll see what's going on in here. I'm going to start by just removing or slackening off these brake rod nuts, and there's actually one on both sides. There's the whole linkage on both sides. The Vincents have 2 rear drum brakes and 2 front drum brakes in standard configuration anyway. We're just slackening these nuts off. I think these are referred to as Mickey Mouse nuts because they've got little Mickey Mouse ears here. Just enough to release the slotted trunnion. Nice piece of hardware there. Okay, let's take it all away. Okay, so that will allow the wheel to slide straight off. These fine threads, they take forever. Yeah, this is the standard rear stand or main stand that comes with the Vincent. I don't know if you've ever seen the guys put their bikes onto the rear stands. It can be done. I mean, it's not too difficult, but there's an art to it. You basically kick the stand down, hold onto the bike, walk like a tightrope all the way to the rear of the bike, and then hoist the bike up onto the stand. Normally I'd just spin the rear wheel to get the chain to where we can see the link and remove it, but I guess it's not connected anymore, so we're just going to turn the sprocket that gets us the link in the chain. And actually, the chain's a little worn. And we've got another Tommy bar here for the rear axle. And the next step is, well, for me anyway, I'm not even sure if there's any particular order that you dismantle everything, but these torque bars have to come off as well. They're holding on to the rear brake plate, and you'll notice that these are chromed or polished possibly. I think they're chromed. The bike came like that when I got it. At some point when I continue my de-bling exercise, I'll get those back to black. Let's just get this out of the way. I didn't intentionally let the tyre down, by the way. That's another issue. So I don't know what's happened. I think I've got either a puncture or some kind of a leak at the valve. Just going to lift up this chain guard so it's out of the way when the sprocket comes back. Tricky little thing. There we go. I don't even think I need to do this. I think it would have probably come off. Okay, that should be it. Should be a matter of just removing the rear wheel now. This rear stand I've pushed down as far as I can get it on the Harbour Freight lift. Hopefully the tyre and the wheel will still pass between, because normally it'd be like 90 or even beyond 90 degrees when the bike's up on the rear stand. Here we go. Whoa, just scraped it just in time. It looks very mechanical, doesn't it? Like a Meccano set. Do you remember what they were? Or here in the States, I think it was an Erector set, which was sort of the equivalent to our Meccano sets in the UK. Okay, let's see what it looks like underneath. This is the first time I'm seeing it, actually. I've just put the wheel on the bench and I haven't looked yet. So let's take a look. Oh, got it. Oh, I can already see what's happened. Oh, and there's some bits of metal in there. You can see it already, right? Let me just zoom in. I'm not even going to touch it, but look at that. It's amazing. Can you see daylight? Isn't that amazing? That's a pretty catastrophic failure, isn't it? Okay, let's see what it looks like. I was going to say it's actually quite a clean brake, but I suspect that just the sprocket spinning has essentially given this a chamfer on what would have probably been a pretty jagged edge. But there's the flange of the drum still attached to the sprocket. That's the drum. I think it's most likely corrosion by the looks of it. That's the culprit. I'll do a little bit more digging, but I suspect that's what it is, just worn out. Because believe me, I'm not very good at drag racing, and I ride it reasonably hard, but I can't drop the clutch because of the clutch that I have. Just taking a look at the rear backing plate as well, brake plate. Again, nothing that would suggest anything that's... I'll clean this all up, obviously. These scratches were there before. No, nothing like digging in or wearing from the inside like a can opener. I don't believe so. Well guys, I've done a little bit more research. I've been out onto the forum and just consulted the handbooks and KTB, Know Thy Beast book, and I think the answer was staring me right in the face in terms of what the root cause is. And so as we look at page 47, Know Thy Beast, we're looking in the brake drums and sprocket area, and I think the answer is the bolts are too long. And what was staring me right in front of my face is indentations here on the fin. 10 indentations all around the drum where I believe the bolts are too long, and over time they've applied undue pressure on the underside of the flange. I'll show you another shot in a minute. There's very little clearance, well evidently no clearance, between the end of these bolts and this rib here. And I think what's happened, it's just over time, with perhaps a combination of corrosion, metal fatigue and undue pressure, it's literally popped the flange off like a top. A bit like scoring glass, you know, and cracking it, because this is so essentially relatively brittle. So I think that's the answer, but let me just show you another couple of clips, but I think it's self-evident what's happened. So what I've done here is I've put the sprocket back onto the drum with the flange fitted just where it broke. Found a little notch that matched up, so this is exactly how it was before it came apart. And then just looking underneath, if you can see this, maybe, I don't know if you can see that, you can see that there's no clearance between the end of the bolts and that rib. So here are some of the witness marks. Okay guys, well I hope you enjoyed this. I'll do a follow-up video obviously when I order a new drum, and I think I'm going to go with the new sprocket as well, and all the hardware that hold the sprocket to the new flange, and probably this hardware as well inside. Probably go all out, get everything new. Alright guys, take care of yourselves. See ya.